great basketball.
Defender to the master, Jason Tatum.
Be covering pre and post game back on this channel.
Woo! What's going on, everybody? Welcome back into Celtics Postgame Live. I am your host, Rob Atayan. Joined with me is my co-host, Justin Lowe. My two special guests, Finn, a.k.a. Celtics Insiders, Jack Bienvenu. Jack, welcome back. Finn, welcome on for the first time. Joining us shortly will be Ian Angela. Celtics drop yet another frustrating loss, this time on the road in Cleveland, 118-114. JB, despite the season's loss, he had himself a good game, 13 points, 13 rebounds, and 9 assists. At what cost, though? The C's scored 41 second-half points after putting up 68 in that first half. Celtics obviously dropped their third straight games. Guys, all right, so let's just start it off. We're going to go down the line.
Shit, bro.
Here's Ian. Ian's always the saddest one in the bunch.
Yes, let's go down the line. We'll start with Justin. You know the drill, Justin. Thoughts, takeaways, opinions, reactions. I mean, this one was a bad beat tonight in Cleveland.
Yeah, this one sucked. I applaud the effort in the first half. I don't know what happened in the second half. I love what I saw in the first half. Shots were falling. We were getting paint touches. I thought the defense was great. Cavaliers, one of the top defensive teams in the league. We go in on the road, second night of a back-to-back, down 3 starters. Go in and put up nearly 70 at halftime. And I don't know what happened in the second half, man, but just absolute chaos in that second half and in overtime. Again, I definitely applaud the effort. I'm not going to sit here and harp on them for blowing the 13-point lead, but this was a game that the Celtics should have won. I thought mistakes going down the line hurt the Celtics big time, but Jesus, Portland, that if we don't win that Portland game, dude, we're in the Wembanyama sweepstakes. So like we gotta get going here. We gotta get going here, man.
I mean, yeah, it was bad in every aspect. I get it. People were out. No Tatum, no Rob, no Al, but same story. It's got that to December 2021 kind of feel to it, right, Finn? Well, what are your thoughts, your takeaways? I mean, what do you got for us today?
I saw a little bit of the Knicks game in the second half. There was just a collapse at the end. But we still had some players that played okay. Jaylen Brown might have shot 1 for 7 for 3, but he had a pretty well-rounded game. And, that was nice to see. But it's we can't get a game where everyone plays well together. You look at Marcus Smart, who just came back from injury, and it's you can't get it together. Derek White's been good, but they can't get the whole squad to have a good game. And, down the line, I think Joe's also struggling with the lineups and who to finish the game with. And these last couple of games, I think he's kind of getting exposed.
Jack, I mean, what do you got for me?
I mean, like Finn said, just can't get everyone to have their best game at once, and seems like someone's always having an off night. And I feel like Joe didn't do terrible with the timeouts tonight. I think he called them at respectable times, and when the Cleveland would go on their little runs. But Grant Williams, man, just
oh my God.
If he just hits one of those damn free throws, we're not even in this mood right now. It's they're free throws, and for someone who wants $20 million, that was your game to show me you deserve $20 million, and you just lost all my confidence in you.
It started great too. He started out phenomenal.
Yes. I was thinking.
Oh my God!
I was watching him tonight, thinking I'd come on here and just praise Grant Williams, but
again, it's just because he didn't dribble the ball once tonight. He actually shot the ball. He didn't put the ball on the floor once. Yeah. That's why.
The only time he did were the free throws, and look what happened. The only time he put the ball on the ground were on the free throws.
Dude, how do you go say?
Right.
Come on, man, and. It's this game was in the Celtics' hands, and that's just what makes it so. That's what just makes it. Like Justin said, we better fucking win this game against Portland. If we don't win this game against Portland,
that big red button on my desk, Jack. That big red button on my desk.
Me and Ian are opening the case and slamming the button.
Yeah, the button getting hit.
That button's getting hit. So I mean, we've been saying it for the past 3 games, maybe even 5, ever since the All-Star break. This is the game the Celtics are going to wake up. This next one better be the game the Celtics wake up. At home against pretty much just Damian Lillard and 9 other guys. You got to win this one.
Hey,
We got to hear from Ian.
Yeah, I want to hear
Ian's
it.
dying over there. I'm sorry, we just have to. Ian's dying over there.
I'm going to start this off by telling you a tweet I made 2 hours ago. I said Grant Williams' revenge game so far. 12 points, 4-4 from three-point land, 100% field goal percentage, 3 rebounds, and GOAT. He became the GOAT for another fucking reason tonight.
You said
dude.
GOAT?
Yes.
Said
I
GOAT.
think the
That
reason
makes it
why
like-
we lost this game was because Grant Williams decided to tell Donovan Mitchell that he was going to make both free throws before he shot them.
Nobody can
That
play.
is the reason
Oh
why
my
we lost this game. He said he was going to make both.
Why would you say that? Just shoot
He
the free
missed
throws.
both.
Especially when you're Grant Williams. It's not like you're Jason
Yeah,
Tatum.
no,
You're
yeah,
Grant Williams.
bro.
No, literally, dude.
Remember,
And
something
then-
like this happened in the bubble too, and Grant missed both free throws, and we lost the game in the bubble. This has happened
Oh, yeah.
before.
And then in overtime, the Celtics decided to do exactly the same thing that lost
Yeah.
them the game
Yeah.
against the Knicks. All they did was shoot threes. They were 3 for 20 in the second half of this game.
Yeah.
Yeah, how many threes did they shoot total? Can someone
Should we
figure
check?
that out?
Let's
Yeah,
see.
does
I
someone
got
have
it.
the box
I
score
got
up?
it. They shot 48 threes tonight.
That's brutal. And then you look
What
at
was
the
our
numbers.
percentage?
It's brutal.
Nah, dude,
Marcus
that's
Smart
how
was
it works.
absolutely the worst by far.
3
He was
for
3 of
11?
11 from three.
That's the
Jalen
was
Brown
he,
was 1 of 7.
was he 3 for 11
Mike
again
Muscala.
tonight?
No, Marcus
Yeah.
Smart was 3 of 11 from 3.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Marcus Smart was
He was 3 of 11
17 overall.
last night too. He was
Oh, last night, too.
so he's 6 of 22. So like, all right, all jokes aside, right? Because obviously we've been like, we've been grieving through laughing to start the show off, right? But it
Yeah.
feels like almost like there's honestly a fundamental dysfunctional problem that the Celtics kind of have that's starting to show. It's the same core group of guys. Obviously a different head coach this time. I'm not ready to put the blame on Joe. I thought Joe honestly was phenomenal tonight with the calling timeouts. I think
Yeah.
he stopped the game at the right time. I think this was
Yeah.
the best Joe Mazzulla coaching job in game we've seen in the past 25, 30 games. I think he's definitely understanding what he has to do. I think my problem lies with we're falling back into old habits is part one. And I don't know why. The All-Star break, it kind of like we hit a reset button and everything we had worked on for the past 250 days since that loss to New York, that RJ Barrett game winner, we kind of have forgotten and thrown out the window. Another thing, Justin and I were talking about this before the show started. It really, all jokes aside on Grant Williams, it seems like this team does not like Grant Williams. His body
Dude, I'm
language,
telling
how
you,
they're joking on the bench.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
something is off between Grant Williams and this team.
I pay attention. I don't know if it's ADHD. I don't know if I'm just a snoopy person, but I'm watching the game and I'm watching the players on the bench. I'm watching how Joe Mazzulla reacts while the game's going on. I'm looking in the background. And today, first of all, last night, a play happened. It's okay. Like, players are going to butt heads. Players probably butt heads all the time behind the scenes. We just don't know about it. That's a part of the game. That's a team. That's brotherhood. That's going to happen. But it just happens to Grant Williams, at least that I see, more than any player on this team. Players grow frustrated with Grant the most. And Tatum, I saw Tatum having freaked out on Grant last night. I don't know if anybody caught that on camera,
Yeah.
but it was on camera, and I caught. He was so pissed.
all right.
Tonight, coming out of the timeout, NBC Sports Boston puts the camera on Joe Mazzulla and Grant Williams, and they were screaming at each other. Both faces were red. They were absolutely I couldn't believe they actually showed it coming out of the break. And not many people notice that. I've been noticing that, and it's been with Grant Williams every single time. We saw it healthy scratch of Grant Williams. We've seen only 8 minutes played from Grant Williams. Saw 15 minutes. I think he was the only player who didn't play in the first quarter tonight, or at least everybody came off the bench before him tonight. And the Celtics were down 4 wings. I know Gallo hasn't played all year, but that's 4 wings. And dude, I don't know. Something's going on with Grant Williams behind the scenes. And I'm telling you, it's not just because he had a bad game or he, messed up. There's something going on behind the scenes that we don't know about.
I mean, for me, I think, if we're looking at the Celtics and what their issue is, down the stretch, for me, the problem hasn't been offense. I mean, like, they're getting decent looks. They're generating okay shots, but the defense has been horrible. If you look at the fourth quarter, like, I'm going to go back to the Nets game. You let somebody like Mikal Bridges drop, 35 on us? That's a problem to me.
Right.
And you go to the Knicks game, and you let Emmanuel quickly do the same. And then obviously you have Donovan Mitchell tonight. And it's not like these people are getting their season averages. They're getting in the high 30s. And, the Celtics had the best defense in the NBA last year. And there's no reason why they shouldn't have a top defense right now. There's also, like, some defensive schemes don't make sense to me. Like, they're doubling a lot at the top of the key. But last season we didn't really see that much. And I think that's honestly screwing up, switching everything on the perimeter. And I don't think that scheme is working. I think this team's identity is its defense. It's always been the defense. It can't be 3-point shooting. And if this team wants to win a championship, the defense has to be better than the offense.
I mean,
yeah,
God,
I agree. I agree. I think I agree with you with the defense because, I mean, this was exactly what happened in the Nets game. The double teams don't work. We've seen this doesn't work. Like, even in the 2020 season, the reason why the Celtics lost so many games was because they would always double team somebody and always leave somebody open in the corner. Every single time. It feels like every single time they would leave somebody in the corner wide open. And this is the same thing again. We were lucky that Cleveland didn't go up by more. We're just lucky Cleveland's a terrible team when it comes to shooting corner shots this game, at least. But it's just that I don't even think they know what they're doing on defense at this point. It's really kind of annoying because this team, again, they harp their identity on being a defensive team. There's no defense here whatsoever.
Well, I don't even know if you can say that anymore. I feel like I hate the idea of living or dying. I hate the idea of living or dying by the three.
It's never worked.
Like, I know
it's
when
never
matters,
worked. No
and
team
teams
has
that
ever won a championship living and dying.
Like, I've seen,
because eventually you're gonna die by it. And
like, I've seen people comparing us to Houston and talking about Game 7 Warriors Rockets, but, like, I know we have a better defense than that. But, if you have a guy like Jason Tatum on your team who's 6'10" and he's attempting 9 3-pointers a game, like, and Marcus Smart attempting 9 3-pointers a game, that's too much for my liking. I think Jason Tatum, like Jaylen Brown, like he gets to his mid-range and he finds his shots a lot more than Tatum's been doing recently. I'm not sure I like the style of ball Tatum's been playing recently. It feels to me like it's almost just step back after step back three. He came into the league out of Duke and everyone was talking about, is Kobe fadeaway his mid-range shot? When was the last time we seen him make a couple of those in a game? Maybe you get like one every 5 games. But we need Tatum to get to the stripe more, and we need him to get to the mid-range. I'm kind of sick and tired of these step-back, bogus three-pointers.
That's the thing. Like, the ball hasn't touched the paint. Like,
no.
the ball needs to touch the paint. Hey, guess what? If that generates a good look from outside, it generates a good look from outside. But the Celtics seem to lack a want to drive to the basket. And I understand Missoula's game plan is to shoot more 3-pointers, but I saw a tweet and it was I forget who tweeted it, but it was so true. There's a difference between between taking 3-pointers and generating 3-pointers. And it's very, very true. The ball needs to be, moving around. The ball's got to touch the paint. I mean, Finn, you said it. Tatum is best. The Celtics are at their best when they're driving, when they're attacking, they're getting to the free throw line. Even if it's a driving kick out to a 3-pointer, like Tatum shot 17 3-pointers against the New York Knicks the other night.
Brutal.
17.
That's crazy.
6'10", 240.
That's NBA 2K my career. That's what I do in my career. I shoot 17 threes in a damn game. And on top of that, Marcus Smart, look, I'm not sitting here, compare coaches, Missoula and Udoka, but like whatever Smart was last year under Udoka, I need that same Marcus Smart for Joe Missoula right here. This 11 3-pointers a game that he's been averaging the past 2-3 games, that can't fly. I understand Tatum was out tonight, but that type of Marcus Smart, we need to leave that. We need Smart to be looking for others, a pass-first guard that he's been. He's been able to facilitate. He's been able to move the ball. And, hey, if his shot comes, his shot comes. But he's forcing the shots, almost like a J.R. Smith type of thing. The same old bad habits that Marcus Smart had shooting is what we've seen in the last couple of weeks. And you don't want to see your team trend in that direction come this time of year.
I mean, I said it before the show started. Marcus Smart, prior to that injury against the Toronto Raptors, was playing the best basketball of his career. He was passing the ball at an incredibly efficient rate. His assist to turnover ratio was phenomenal. He was taking smart shots. He was never forcing threes. He was playing at a great pace. Defensively, he was still being solid. Post-injury, he has played the worst basketball of his career. He has not been able to play make. He has not been able to knock down threes. Defensively, it feels like the other team's guard has given us high 30s, low 40s every night now. I mean, Finn said it. I mean, Quickly gave us 40 the other night. Donovan gives us 40 tonight. Who was it? Drew Holiday. It was just like, it feels like guards are going up on us every single game now. And I'm not necessarily saying this season's a wash by any means, because end of the day, we're the 2 seed. End of the day, we're still only 2 games back on Milwaukee. And I still think we have the deepest and best roster that the league has to offer right now. I still full-heartedly believe that. However, we're going through a really rough patch
at the wrong time.
Of basketball right now at the wrong time. And I think there's reason to look at how we're playing and consider potentially that maybe this season is trending downwards. And I'm not worried. I'm not as worried as I think I was honestly last night. I think I've kind of calmed down a little bit despite a rough loss. I mean, second night of a back-to-back, you got some guys out of the lineup, but it's just like, how many more of these happen before we're like, oh God, what are we watching, right? Like, is the line, like, what's the line, right?
Who the hell?
I mean,
it's one of those things where it's like, it's one of those things, we ask that after every single loss now. Like, the last 3 losses, the only thing we've asked is, where's the line? When are they going to bounce back? When, what? I don't know. And if we really think about it, the Celtics lost this game not only because Grant Williams couldn't hit a rebound to save his life. Hit a free throw. It's because they couldn't rebound whatsoever. This team completely doesn't know how to rebound. They have at least 5-6 guys that are over 6'10", and none of them know how to rebound. Robert Williams is out for one thing. He's out for like 2 games, and the rest of the centers on the roster don't know how to rebound. I just don't get it. Like, how? I don't know. This team needs to go back to like middle school days and learn how to rebound in practice at this point.
Dude, I hate addressing comments because I hate doing this. I don't know why I'm reading them in the first place. But first of all, none of us are giving up on the Celtics. Like, it's okay to talk about the negatives. It's okay to get frustrated. It's a long season. That doesn't mean we're giving up. And second of all, I wasn't comparing Marcus Smart to J.R. Smith. I was comparing his shot selection, and I think that's a very fair comparison because Marcus Smart has not been taking the most smartest shots, no pun intended. And I think that's a very fair comparison. I'm not comparing the game to him. I'm comparing his shot selection. J.R. Smith was one player in the league who was known for his poor shot selection. And I don't want Marcus Smart to trend in that direction. But, yeah. And
think about it. Since All-Star break, we're 3-4. That's not good. We've lost 3 really ugly games in a row. So it's like, by no means are we giving up, or at least personally speaking, I'm not giving up by any means. But 3-4 with some really, really bad losses is there's absolute reason to worry. There's absolute reason to raise a question of what's going on with the Boston Celtics. I mean, that's absolutely fair to say, I think.
I mean, it's just, I don't think I'm necessarily worried either. I just think it's for a team of these expectations that are ahead of this team, just losing these kind of games just sucks. But I mean, Scott, you have to win against Portland. You have to win.
I think you got to win the next 4. You got to go on a streak. Like you got to catch up ground. You lost ground.
I mean, these are the schedule. What we have Portland, then we go on the road for 2 weeks or something.
Yeah, big road trip.
Yeah, we have a big trip. But I mean, we got to remember we just played a double overtime game last night.
Right.
Flew from
That's
Boston.
why I applaud the effort.
Flew to Boston to Cleveland. Got off the plane, shot around, played an overtime game again. Didn't have 3 of our starters. I mean, I really do applaud the effort, and it's just really disappointing because it just would have been a huge win. But.
Oh yeah. Also, according to Twitter, the Celtics left the locker room, and they're all in the weight room right now.
Good.
You love to see
Except Grant. I don't want Grant in the weight room. I want Grant on the next bus out of Cleveland, heading over to the main Celtics. Honest to God, I'm so done with Grant Williams. And I've tried to be nice. And you know what? He had a great year last year. But, oh, my God, Grant Williams, you have been terrible. Terrible. I'm talking to you, Grant. I doubt you're listening to me. But in the slim 1% chance, Grant Williams is listening to me. Oh, my God, Grant. You missed both. You have one job, dude. You got one job. You're searching for that $20 million contract. Well, make your damn free throws, bro. God.
Personally,
We're going back to 2020, Rob, where he absolutely hated Grant Williams every single game.
Oh my dude, God.
It's just that is frustrating. That's really, really, really frustrating, and it stinks too because he was playing a really good game. He was playing his role really, really well.
With a straight face. You can't say that with a straight face.
No, but if we miss those free throws, we're up here. If he made them, we're up here praising him for how good of a game he had.
No, for sure. But at the same time, it's just
big.
It's
F.
just
big. I just
think it was so cringe. Of course, it was Grant Williams talking shit to Donovan Mitchell, and then he breaks both free throws. He's like,
you know what? I knew he was gonna miss both. I don't know why. I just had a feeling. I go, you know what? This is just so Celtics. To miss both of these and then go to lose in overtime. I'm like,
you know what's more frustrating? We're going back on the West Coast, I think that's our next race. It's 6 games against not West Coast technically, but West teams. Portland, Sacramento, and who else?
Your opinion on Grant Williams right now?
Yeah, Finn.
You're muted.
I think you're muted.
There you go.
Grant,
No, you're still muted. You just had it unmuted, though.
It's okay.
It is the most. I mean, God, it was so bad. It was so bad tonight. Grant Williams was so bad. I don't really have much more to say.
Yeah, I mean, it's rough. But, I mean, the last time I checked, the schedule was I made something in post today. The Celtics have a chance to go on at least a 8 out of 10 stretch right now. You play Portland, Atlanta, Houston, Minnesota, Portland again, Utah, Sacramento, Indiana, and San Antonio. You should win at least 8 of those 10.
I think if we can end off the road trip, beating Sacramento in their house, which is a tough game. This isn't the same Kings that we're used to seeing. And then if we beat Utah in their house and then come back home, I like that a lot. So
Wait, am I still muted?
No, you're good.
No,
you're
good.
All right, continue, Jack. Sorry.
No, you're good. I'm just really just highlighting the back end of that road trip. I think that's a really important stretch right there, I think, coming back home. And then we got the Bucks game. I'm hyped for that Bucks game in about a month. That'll be last day of March 30th. So
I'm excited. I think a road trip like this is good. I mean, honestly, they might be 3-4 in their last 7, but I feel like I'm pretty calm right now. I'm not too concerned. I feel like as long as you can close the season and go into the playoffs with 1 foot forward, I'm pretty confident. And this team, they're really good on the court, but as a locker room, you can just tell they're super connected. After a tough loss like this, they're in the weight room. So I think if they can rebound, have some good team bonding on the road, you know, get it back together, I'm not too worried. I feel like they can, because it's not an offensive problem, it's a defensive problem. And just with how many good wings and perimeter defenders the Celtics have, I feel like they can get it back together. And once they get it together, we've seen what this team is capable of. They've gone on multiple win streaks this season, so why not go on another one? And I feel like that's pretty realistic.
Finn, I want to ask you, do you think going through this, this season, the Celtics haven't really had any at least consistent rough patches. Maybe coming home from that West Coast trip, those 2 losses against Orlando, and then we got blown out by 30 against Indiana. Maybe that, but this is arguably the worst. 3 back-to-back blown 15-point leads. 2 of the 3 games are overtime losses. That's rough. Do you think this might be good for the Celtics in terms coming down the stretch of the season, in terms of they're facing adversity right now, and it's just all about how they respond and how they, I guess, kind of battle through this? Do you think this could be a positive in some eyes?
Yeah. I'm trying to look at it on the good side, and if you were to look at it as a wake-up call, maybe it's something the Celtics need. Last season, obviously, they had a rough start to the season, and that was the adversity they battled through. And that is honestly what kept them going so deep in the playoffs, because they know the pain of losing. They know what it's like to, struggle. And I think once they get to the playoffs, this is something they can look back upon. And honestly, I think it's motivation, right? You get to the playoffs, you lose a couple games, you regroup, you look back on something like this, and you know what's going wrong, and you know what you have to do.
Yeah. I mean, let's just hope it doesn't get any worse. That's my big thing right now. It's another frustrating thing is you're still in contention for that 1 seed, and the expectation right now in Boston is finals or bust. In reality, you have a 3-year window, 4 or 5-year window with this current constructed roster. Obviously, you're gonna have to make a couple moves. Al, you're gonna have to find Al replacement, and you don't really know what you're gonna do with Grant right now. And you're gonna have to make some moves. But with this current roster, you still got 3 years with these guys. However, like I said, it's championship or bust. So if you're looking at that, you got to see what Milwaukee's doing right now. And the Bucks look really, really good. The Knicks, also another team, they're looking really, really good. 2 teams you're going to see in the playoffs. But especially Milwaukee, you're going to want to have home court. You're going to want that Game 7 in Boston at TD. It's what sent you to the finals last year. It is what could send you to the finals again this year if you end up seeing Milwaukee in the Eastern Conference Finals, which I would assume is what happens if the Celtics can get back on track. However, you got to find a way to put together a game of stretch of 10 games where you go 7-3, 8-2, 9-1, right? Whatever it may be. You got to string together some wins here and catch back up to Milwaukee, because they're playing some really good ball, and you're going to want to have home court advantage against them.
Yeah. I mean, another thing the Celtics need to worry about is figuring out how to hold the lead the entire game again. Now, granted, these are very spaced out, but this is now the 10th time this season the Celtics have blown a double-digit lead, and the 3rd game in a row. So it's one of those things where, in a way, the Celtics, the reason why they were such a unit in the beginning of the season was because they would get a lead, and they would just continue piling on and piling on and piling on. That's what they did in the beginning of the season, and that's why they were so successful, and that's why they looked like the best team in NBA history. Right now, what they're doing, they're getting up to a huge lead, and then they're just becoming complacent. They're just taking bad shots. They're not playing the same way they do in the first half. It's one of those things where I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's a coaching problem. I don't know if it's a player problem. It's just got to be something that they have to figure out, because this is exactly why we lost in the playoffs last year too. in the finals because we would get a lead and we would just completely let it dissolve. And they would
And the inability to score down the stretch. We have not been able to score down the stretch.
Or defend.
Exactly. It's just one of those things where the Celtics just completely fell apart in the second half of games in the NBA Finals, and that's why we lost the NBA Finals. Game 4 especially. So if the Celtics really want to get back to the finals, they have to figure out how to close out games in crunch time against good opponents. They have to do it.
I think another big thing is you can't get too in your own head. I think that if these guys, which it doesn't seem like they're necessary, it seems like the players aren't worried at all, which honestly is kind of worrisome. They should be a little bit worried. They should be like getting themselves back on track. But at the same time, you can't let this bad stretch of basketball interfere with your confidence. This team has to realize that they're still the best team in basketball. They still, like I said, they still have this great constructed roster. They still have all this talent. Defensively, they can be the best offensive and defensive team in the league if they really put their mind to it. So this team has to stay their course. They have to continue to play games with confidence. I think, Justin, you made a great point earlier in the show. They have to start getting into the paint more. I think if they start to do that, I think the court opens up. But most importantly, can't lose confidence. You have to continue to play with confidence. Except Grant Williams. He's not allowed to.
No. Now Grant has to play with confidence. We need to after this, dude. This is just
you saw he was confident he was going to make both.
I know.
You didn't.
That's the most Grant Williams things ever. I can't believe that. But look, it's so bad. But
it's so Grant, bro. It's so Grant.
Yes.
Dude,
like no other player in the NBA. No other player in the NBA would ever do that. It would legitimately just be Grant.
Only be Grant Williams.
No other player would say that and then miss both. Players would say that. They just wouldn't go on and miss both.
The first one was like a bad miss, though. It was like off the front of the rim or something.
Yeah. I think
the first
even
one he completely bricked. The second one was like,
I think even Scal, it's like in the first one, he's like, oh, not even close. So I'm like, yeah.
Oh, man.
But, I mean, hey, look, I guess, like, you know, that's how spoiled I guess we've been this season. Like, there have been teams to go through 5, 6, 7 game losing streaks. And then here we are, you know, talking about, I guess, you know, a third 3 game losing streak. It's just the fashions that we're losing it and just letting our foot off the gas pedal and the lack of effort. I will say the effort was there tonight for sure. I thought there were mistakes that led to this loss, obviously. But I mean, this felt different than the first 2 blown 15-point leads. Like this was different. I feel like the effort was there. We were shorthanded, you know, coming up. I guess the Celtics didn't land till like 3:45 in the morning. Not to throw excuses out there, but I mean, like, these games happen, and unfortunately, it's happened 3 straight guys. Yes, this is the kid who got the tattoo last year. But you know, on to Portland. I think Portland is a great matchup. I think they're fighting for their play in life, so they're gonna try to bring it. Obviously, they're gonna want to try to beat Boston down. I think we play them twice in the next. So
if they lose at home to Portland,
that's
forget
bad.
it.
Yeah,
it's gonna be ugly.
Portland at home last year.
Watch Damian Lillard
I was
try
at
to drop
that game.
70 again.
I was at
that
game.
Dude, if Dame drops he's gonna go for 60 tomorrow. That's just
he might.
I feel like he has.
All right, well,
like
yeah.
If they want to win.
Well, Celtics, they drop a big one on the road. It's their 3rd straight loss, 118-114 of the Cleveland Cavaliers. Like I said, Jaylen Brown was your leading scorer for the C's. He had 32 points, 13 rebounds, 9 assists, teeter with the triple doubles. C's, like I said, only scored 41 second half points. Really rough in that second half. Loses a 3 straight. Guys, before we end the show, head out. You know the drill. Any last words, thoughts, takeaways, anything you want to get out before we end the show?
Just beat Portland.
Hey, guess what? Guess what? The Portland game is where we turn it around.
Hey!
This is where we bounce back.
It might not.
I'm hoping what they toss Grant on a Spirit Airline flight back to Boston or something. That's all I gotta say.
All right. I'm Rob. Next to me is Justin. Across from me is Finn, aka Celtics Insiders. Below me is Jack and Ian. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in to Celtics Postgame Live. We'll be back live after the final buzzer sounds against the Blazers at home. Just come back right here. Thank you so much. And until then, go